Dad, why do you have to spend Christmas here again?
There's nothing to do.
We're here to see your uncle and your auntie and your cousins.
I thought you might turn up. I'm sorry. I didn't believe you.
I should have called. Miss you, my friend. Are you happy in this modern world? What if you could fly?
The old dude? Is Wilson. Is that the old dude? Wow. Okay, this is a big step up from the first Bendy. Oh, can you, like... That's weird. Looks like you can upgrade your weapons. Whose name is on the baseball? Definitely feels a lot more spooky than the first one. Leaning a lot more into the horror element.
Away from the ink demon.
What's an ink demon?
He likes to smile, and he kills anything that moves.
Here goes nothing.
Okay, so there's Audrey, our character. This is an underground town. Got some vents. The Butcher Gang. Oh, Alice Angel with a Tommy gun. Oh, okay, that's interesting. Wow. Okay, so... Wait. Oh, it's the actual little dude. Oh my gosh, this is coming out, like... Oh my god, I did not expect this to come out this year. Oh, jeez. So yeah, there was a lot to break down in that trailer. So I've sort of been combing over my thoughts, and these are some things I want to talk about in regards to the lore of this game and how it ties into the past game. So in the trailer, we see two main characters, one being Audrey and a mysterious mad scientist-like character who I'm assuming is Wilson based on the poster in the trailer. The protagonist of the game is Audrey, who looks to be either an animator or a colorist. It sounds as if she hears something in the office late at night. And I'm assuming this, but upon exploring the noise, Wilson captures her and submits her to the will of the ink machine. In the original 2019 trailer, we can hear this same voice saying, "A pretty girl like you shouldn't be wandering around all by yourself." Wilson looks like he has access to a mini version of the ink machine, like from Joey Drew's apartment in the to me. So Wilson, and at the end of them, at the end of the original game, we hear the phrase, "Tell me another one, Uncle Joey." And I'm just wondering how this could tie into things. Now, speculation here, but could Audrey be this girl? We don't know if this is a plot device specifically for only the first game, or if it was foreshadowing something to come in the second game. The illustrations of this game are in color, versus the older game being black and white. So, this hints at the game, of course, taking place at a later time. Plus, the fact that Wilson, or the man we are assuming is Wilson, was able to listen to all the previous audio logs from the 30s and 40s. Now, of course, this brings us to my last point of speculation. Could Henry still be in this game? Maybe he's become one of the lost ones. Remember, the first game seemed to be a repeating cycle, a timeline that played over and over as the ending brought upon the beginning. We don't know if Henry ever broke that cycle. So, it makes you wonder, is this Bendy Henry? Lots of other employees ended up being cartoon characters themselves after they got transformed. So, wouldn't it make sense that Henry would sort of become this little Bendy? It's a possibility. I'm not entirely sure, but it would be really cool to encounter Henry in some shape or form in this game. But with that ends my initial speculation about this trailer, and I will see you all as we break open this beast when it releases. Cheers!
So today, as promised, we just got the final trailer for Bending the Dark Revival, showing more gameplay, story, and characters than we've ever seen before from this game. And this trailer really did not disappoint. I mean, there is genuinely a lot to cover. So let's go over this trailer scene by scene and break down all the hidden lore, secrets, and Easter eggs within this trailer. Okay, so the trailer begins with, surprisingly enough, Audrey in the real world, working at her desk at the non-cartoon world of Joey Drew Studios. She seems to... which we'll get to in a second. Next, we hear the voice of Wilson, claiming that he banished the Ink Demon for 211 days, or 211 iterations of the time loop, quite possibly, and that in return he wants Audrey captured. Whatever his motives for this are, we don't know, whether it to be experiment on her or kill her or something of the like. In the next shot, we can also see a lost one, killed and strung up on a wall with a bag over its head, and the message "Demon Follower" scrolled beside it. So based on what Wilson is saying as the shot is shown, it really seems like he's having any indication to work up the demon, and possibly any indication that he isn't completely loyal to him too. More on that later. Next shot, we can see the players departing once again. So it seems like we will be revisiting some environments from the first game, but behind that, it's like a million times better than the second time. Not just the graphics, but the environment is so much richer, and there's so much more to notice than there was back in Bending Machine. Next are two shots of employee lounges. One seems to be a sort of old-fashioned bar area, and the other a rest area specifically meant for artists. And if this is actual gameplay footage, then again, everything just looks so much more alive and dense than it did in the first game. Alright, next we get a bit of clarification about who this Wilson guy actually is. In this shot, we see these two posters of him taped up on the wall. And they almost seem to be these, like, 1984 style Big Brother is watching type propaganda posters. These claim that everyone can now relax because Wilson vanquished the evil ink demon. He will find a purpose for everyone, which could possibly imply that he is forcing everyone in the studio to follow his rule and give them brutal jobs. Now, think back to what I said earlier about Wilson possibly being the guy who took over after Joey Drew died. If in this ink world, Wilson killed the ink demon and then gave everyone a purpose after that, I feel like it's a pretty strong metaphor for that, as it's pretty obvious at this point that the ink demon, while not containing directly the soul of Joey Drew, is definitely a stand-in for him. So, Wilson killing the ink demon and then taking over the studio could parallel the real-life event of Joey Drew dying and then Wilson becoming CEO. Okay, next we get to see some enemy attacks. First we get a look at the Butcher Gang, who looks so much more animated and picture. Then we get to see a new guy. Well, sort of new. This big tanky surfer fellow was revealed a few years ago in the Teen trailer. And now we can see what he actually looks like. Based on his build, I'd assume he will end up being a boss moving, or at the very least a super tough enemy. Next we can see Audrey climbing the wall, which definitely seems to support the idea that this game will have a lot more interactivity than the previous installment, which I am pretty excited for. Okay, next we can see Audrey put her jet pipe into this weird cylindrical thing. Now we know from the first trailer that there will be some sort of workbench upgrade stations in this game, and this pipe seen here also has more pieces on it than the pipe seen in the trailer, like this little power cell thing. So we can assume that weapon upgrades are definitely going to be a thing in this game, and that Audrey upgrading her weapon is probably what she's doing here. Having upgrades in this game is pretty cool in my opinion, because I feel like it expands on the gameplay quite a bit, and it'll probably make combat way more interesting. Here we can see the Lost One character from the last teaser who says, "Thank you very much for your help," which seems to imply that there will be side quests or some sort of tasks that you can do for this character at least some point in the game, which will again add to the gameplay in a big way. Next we can see some sort of creature that kind of looks like a cross between a nun and Penny Hemsworth from the Mutants' failed game Showdown Bandit. This nun character says, "Almost everyone here can't speak or is completely mad." So this seems to hint towards this character running some sort of insane asylum for the ill or mentally insane, which would fit in line with her being a nun. Then you get an example of this in the next shot where we hear a voice yell, "Kill the stranger," referring to Audrey, as she is called a stranger several times throughout this trailer. The person saying this also sort of sounds like Evil Alice Angel, and the silhouette shown in this shot vaguely resembles her too. So could this be where Alice is hiding in this game, locked up in this asylum run by these nuns? Next we can see a Lost One looking at Audrey and saying, "Nobody wants you here," again reinforcing the theme that everyone here is against Audrey by the bidding of Wilson. Also, notice the way he said it. It's also clear that she's new in the studio. He's telling her to get out while she's still calm, which is further backed up by Alice finding Audrey and offering to help her, while Audrey's still confused and scared like she hasn't been there for very long, as opposed to Audrey, who's more of a studio veteran. Next we get a shot of Ink Bendy's shadow, and he looks a lot more like Monster Bendy from Chapter 5, accompanied with the line, "Above everything else, stay away from the ink demon," with Audrey responding, "What's an ink demon?" To which Alice says, "He likes to smile, and kills everything that moves," which is kind of a cringe line, but okay. So whatever Wilson did to contain Ink Bendy clearly didn't work for very long, because now he's back on the prowl and hunting Audrey like everyone else in this game. Dang, this chick just cannot get a break. Then, right after that, we see a hand clawing its way through a door, which looks to be Ink Bendy's hand, based on the size of it and the single white glove. Next, we see the Butcher Gang members all clustered up around a pillar, looking as horrific as ever. Then, right after that, we see a wall with the text on it, "She was the fourth," with a lost one kneeling beside it. Now, what could this possibly mean? Well, if you remember back to a while ago, the neatly confirms that Bendy and the Dark Revival would feature a fourth Butcher Gang member. So could this possibly be the fourth that is referred to here? Whoever this her is the fourth member of the Butcher Gang. Alrighty, next we get a bunch of rapid fire shots. Battle with the Lost Ones, Audrey climbing a ladder, Lost Ones being born from some sort of steaming hole in the ground, more vent crawling, Audrey opening a door, and finally, Evil Alice Angel making her big return with an updated look and a freaking machine gun. How badass is that? Also, I should probably mention that the reoccurrence of old and previously dead characters does mean this game will take place over the course of an older iteration of the time loop. Maybe we'll even run into Henry, who knows? The final two shots of the trailer before the title card are Audrey using her powers to absorb a searcher and pulling a lever, and then jumping on top of a Lost One from high above to attack. Then, at last, we get to see Perfect Bendy. He's sitting on the ground playing with a toy train. His demeanor is very similar to that of a young child, similar to how he acts in all the Bendy and Ink Machine cartoons, or is depicted in this photo from Joey's house at the end of Chapter 5, as a young child, with Alice and Boris being the older parental figures to him. So this implies something pretty dark. Could a child, possibly one of the employees' kids, have been sacrificed to the machine to create Perfect Bendy? It certainly seems likely. Now, finally, we got a release date. Thank Meatly Jesus, we got a release date. And it's actually soon, like in this century soon. November 15th, 2022. That's this year. Not just this year, that's 2 weeks from today this year. I cannot tell you guys how excited I am to actually play this game.
Are you happy in this modern world? What if you could fly?